You could say that.
Then we got tapes. We got to look at the two teams that are most important right now in the current present time, CAG and Bleed. And to kind of start things off, I'm going to break down the win-loss in the top center of your screen. It might look confusing at first, the 4-0 for CAG, the slash, then 1-4. The 4 is regulation victories, the 0 is overtime victories, and then the 1 is going to be your overtime losses, and the 4 regulation losses. It goes from best to worst.
You're probably like, wow, 13 wins, that's a lot. That is a lot.
That is a lot,
It's more than 4. But it's because they went through the LCQ and they won, and that is something to be proud of.
Yeah, and it's how they got here, right?
I'm overjoyed.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Bleed, they got first in this first stage early in the year, didn't win through LCQ, so didn't make the major in Copenhagen. They get first again domestically, and they go through LCQ again, but this time actually come out on top, and it's how they qualified to this tournament here themselves. For CIG, they're always here. Yes. Every single event, the last like 2.5 years, always around.
Bleed actually is ahead on the SI points, and I mean SI that's a big event. It's the crown jewel of Rainbow Six. You know, you don't want to miss it.
You don't. I mean,
You don't gotta be most winningest player Fabian Halstead to know that you don't want to miss SI.
It's got 3 hammers. But before we get there, before we talk more about Fabian, we gotta talk about the map Veto between CNG and Bleed. Or actually, wait a second. We'll just keep going. That's okay. No bad Veto for now. But CNG Bleed, any expectations for you, Parker?
I expect them to play at least 6 rounds.
Okay.
And I expect them to play one of the 9 maps in the map pool.
I think that you're pretty spot on with that, actually. That's cheers to that. Anything...
Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. The thing is, Parker, you're not really wrong ever.
Joy.
You're always happy, you're always engaged, excited, etc. And today's no different.
You know me.
I know you.
Can't spell Intera without enthusiasm. That's what the E stands for. Enthusiasm.
Yeah, the E in Intera stands for enthusiasm. And there's the map Veto. We got Nighthaven actually being banned out very much in the beginning. You're happy about that.
Overjoyed.
Overjoyed. But we go to Consulate. All the way down from one first map gets banned out, the other new map gets played instead. We Bleed on the attacking side, however. So in CAG, they're like comfortable in that driver's seat on defense, built up some rounds, and just kind of set the tone, if you will.
I apologize for how excited I might sound right now, but I've really been looking forward to a Consulate match.
Do you have any particular favor between CNG and Bleed, who you want to see win? Which one makes you the most excited?
I just want to have a good time, man.
Okay.
That's all I'm about. I'm about good vibes.
And we're guaranteed the 6 rounds.
Really,
we're guaranteed
really good
vibes.
Yeah, you know, I think they're going to probably play some Rainbow Six Siege.
I would hope so.
That's what my goal is.
That's
at least
what I've been preparing for, at least.
Could you imagine if they didn't? Oh boy, that'd be wild.
Just boot up a different game.
Just shaking thinking about it. That's a Coca-Cola factory. Did you see that?
I did not see the Coca-Cola factory.
Nice bottle opener right there.
You know, I actually had very limited view in my current situation here. I can see through the tiny slits that are...
What you lack in vision, I make up for in unbridled excitement.
I would have to agree with that. And when it comes to players like Bleed, for example, they too are very exciting because they have players that are like the youngest in the entire tournament at all of Rainbow Six Siege right now. They have 2 players who are only 18 years of age. That's like the young gunner potential right there, if anything.
Well, before we get into this matchup, there was a major in Copenhagen. It was very exciting. Let's take a look at what happened in Copenhagen.
This is the Blast R6 Major in Copenhagen. Are we ready, Copenhagen? 24 teams from all around the world made the trip here to Denmark.
Okamesh is straight on inside, he finds one, looking for a second. Okamesh is just eating him up for lunch. Gomez, as he plays behind one of the remaining Kiva barricades, to be a big nitro here, and it's massive!
Trying to get ahead of it, spots it moving down the stairs, and there it goes for VP. The free go for VP!
Everything falls to Sploit, down in the 1v2 here. They're both focused on him, no matter!
We are now down to our Elite 8.
Surely not trapped in a corner.
Finesse can collect one, a second, a third.
Oh, he's just insane.
Something feels a little bit different today. It's Championship Sunday! 24 teams made the trip, 2 remain.
The defense, there comes 1 kill and 2. It looks like there's one last stand in its bolts against his old team. It could not be any more bittersweet.
Are they going to be able to close this out here and now?
So, I know you guys are excited about what's going to be coming up because we do have that CAG versus Bleed matchup, but we gotta hold you here for just a few more minutes as the players are getting ready. And if anything, I want to talk about the map pool breakdown perhaps, kind of why they went here, or perhaps you have something better to talk about.
They're making fun of me on Twitter.
Why are they making fun of you on Twitter?
They're saying I'm not wearing a costume.
But, I mean, you're right. You said yourself that this is how you show up. It's not a costume.
It's different when you make fun of yourself.
It is. I understand that. It's gonna be. Why are you checking Twitter anyway? We're actually at work right now.
I'm very excited for this match.
Me too, and we're only like 1 minute and 20 seconds away, so we're almost there.
I asked them to make my name Depresso, and they didn't do it.
They didn't listen to you? I'm sorry.
It's a hard day for me.
I'll talk to them after this matchup.
Thank you very much. What's your costume, by the way? You look great.
I go as KC.
From W7M?
No, it's an abbreviation for Kill a Clown. I'm supposed to be scary, but I'm also not that scary today.
I mean, I saw G2 in their last season with you on the team, and you were scary, but not for the right reasons.
What's that supposed to mean?
You were a freak show.
Did you say last season?
Yeah, and then you retired.
This is Bleed on your very screen right now.
Look at that. Concentration, wow.
The focus, the determination.
They look as excited as I do.
They do. They look like they're about to go into this matchup.
Wiener dog.
I love that dog. They got that dog in them.
Can I pet that dog?
Of course,
That's CAG.
Yeah, that is CAG. For
Very different looking uniforms.
For Bleed, it's their first international event with this roster, representing like the Bleed organization. Whereas for CAG, they go to, as I said, like every single event, but they usually have early exits. So 2 very different squads here in this first series. We're almost ready to go to the server.
We're ready.
We are ready.
Isn't that great?
So let's go. Let's send it
Are you
off.
excited?
CAG versus
I'm
Bleed.
excited.
I'm excited. You're excited. Let's go.
Let's get into the match. If you're excited, type 1 in chat. All right, the bid is over. We can actually get into casting the game. Consulate for our very first play-in here on the main stream. Bleed and CAG, as you saw on the tail of the tapes. Not only are they fighting to remain in the Atlanta Major, because you really only got 2 opportunities to stay in the play-ins. One of these teams will lose this best of 1. And later today, they will fight for their lives in a best of 3, where they may end up going home. They also are fighting for a spot at the 6 Invitational. They are both listed as boundary teams. There will be graphics later on detailing the breakdown of points needed for every single team competing here in Atlanta as to whether or not they can make it to SI. Bleed is one of those teams, along with CAG, where they ultimately need to go very, very deep into the major in order to book their ticket to not Montreal, to Sao Paulo, as SI finally goes international. I say finally because technically during the
COVID situation.
something happened and then we couldn't go back to Montreal, but let's ignore those because they didn't have crowds, and this one has a crowd, a sold-out crowd.
Sold out.
In fact,
Let's
huge round of applause for everybody who purchased their tickets for SI, and Ubisoft and Blast promising that they are looking into ways to expand the amount of tickets available so that even more of you can experience SI in person yourself. Operator bands coming in, Bleed starting on attack, Cyclops on defense. A blitz ban.
Oh boy.
Is exciting.
No, that is exciting. It also indicates that, you know, the teams were expecting the Arbiter to be playing
played, but we're looking at Consulate. We don't typically see Blitz being played on this particular map. The rest, however, looks very standard. The Ying, the Soulless, the Fenrir, these are the exact kinds of operators that we expect to be seen played and or banned in Rainbow Six Siege in the current meta. But one thing that's gone open, and this on Bleed's side, they did not ban the Monty. It's something that CHG, they are known for internationally. Almost every single team tends to respect that, always removing Monty from the board to be played. But the thing is, if you yourself are a capable Monty team, why ban it out when you can play it yourself? And that seems to be Bleed's angle here in the first round. Of course, attacker repick is still in effect, so that could change. But as of this moment, Mentalist is hovering the Monty itself. And you might be thinking, oh, what about, you know, the finger and the gridlock, because we do see them being played but picked off by the attacker repick. Well, some changes happened between, you know, stage 2 and the current major, and it happened basically during the LCQ qualifiers here for the major. Finger now has grenades again, gridlock has grenades, so their pick rate and maybe even ban rate might have some presence here at this major, and that's exciting because that's a meta change. That's something new.
We did see Gridlock get played quite a bit because there were some of those LCQ matches that actually went on after the change came in. Gridlock's pick rate went up, but I mean, you can't really go much higher than being in the basement. So even played 2 or 3 times, you'll say to yourself, wow, we're actually seeing Gridlock come out. That is exceptional. Early prongs from Bleed, piercing the exterior of Garage, leading into that basement floor of Consulate, not too far away from the bomb sites. See the silhouettes there, as we come to expect from Consulate. Still a relatively new addition because there haven't really been that many games that have been played here in the second stage of pro play. What you find is that teams are still inventing the meta. They're still settling in. As you can see for CAG on their very first defense, they like this roam, and Anaton might be able to get Turdsta with a Nitro Cell. Turdsta was on drone. The opportunity might be down. Black Ray getting on the board first. Reaps, often touted as an incredible prospect, will be no more, and I didn't even hear a single EE1D go off.
No, it's not a great start. And the thing is, it's so difficult to attack on Consulate. A very big map, a lot of things to deal with. The roam, the bomb set itself, and no real easy access points. We see here Anaton, vertical play on towards the first primary floor. Turdsta is still outside the building because where can I enter? Where are my teammates? And rotating takes a long time. Turdsta went for that garage breach, rotated main door, now going back towards the basement breach. But his teammates, the rest of Bleed, they've not really progressed inside the building yet. So CYCLOPS, they might find themselves a bit uneasy, you know, not knowing what's happening. But we saw their player cams. They're smiling, they're laughing. They know that there's no inside presence from the attack inside because all those default cameras are still up. There's no Bravo, there's no Twitch being played in this round. And it's all kind of down to Mentalist on the Monty to lead his teammate into the building and try and find a foothold somewhere.
Well, Chibasu, the only defender down for the count now. 1 minute remaining as Anaton wasted all that time upstairs.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Now look towards yellow, and there goes Turdsta to Suzu. Anaton with the follow-up by Asfi. Hovering above, hitting all the goo mines, then finished off by the Legion himself. Mentalist with that shield on. Can he crutch it? Can he clutch it as well? That shield operator for so many, oftentimes a crutch for players, but CAG's hungry. Inside a cafeteria is the perfect place for them to satiate that hunger, and now it's Mentalist. Attack from multiple angles, and Black Ray gets the final kill. CAG strike first.
That's a tough way to start things off, especially if your Reaps on the line, dying early in that round, not finding his foothold. And this is the thing, when you first go into an international tournament, I truly believe that starting on the defense, pretty much no matter what the map is, whether it's defender or attacker sided, is going to be a benefit to you and your team. You know, you're still setting into it, you're nervous, there's a lot of things going on. You see right here, the vertical play, the entries, the breaches, the problem solving that the attackers have to go through every single round is one of the biggest pain points to play Rainbow Six Siege. So this is your first game. You can use the desk, your setup, you know, the angle between the monitor and your mouse and your arm and everything else. Being on defense, you just do your basic stuff. Set up your defense, reinforce some walls, open some floors, etc. And you let the opponents do all the work. That's Bleed right now, and in their very first round, they didn't look all that comfortable when it came to problem solving. And, you know, statistically, we can say, okay, this is supposed to be a 4-2 half. CYCLOPS in defense, they get 4. Bleed on attack, they get 2 rounds. And if that happens, all is well in the world. but we gotta talk about the mental aspect of going down in rounds early on. You do have a pretty quick exit to this major if you have a bad first day. You lose this best of 1, you go down to that loser bracket best of 3, you lose the best of 3, that's it, it's over. So you wanna get comfortable here and get some rounds as early as possible to feel like you still have a chance in these matchups.
Talked about the gridlock and almost like we willed her into existence. Both operators actually that were spoken of in Finka and Gridlock showing prevalence already through this second round, and we will try to keep tabs on these operator pick rates as they go along. We're on the main stream right now, but there is a B stream. There was no B stream for the Copenhagen Major, but now we are back in action. We're so back, baby. B stream right now with Stokes and Lynx carrying the action as they will go through groups, I believe, A and D. We'll see, are they using Gridlock? Maybe they are. Are they using Finka? Maybe they are as well.
But are they playing Consulate? That's the real question.
They're not.
I was gonna say Spotlight, they're not.
I believe it's Bank.
I believe it's Bank as well, yep. So different maps here, the first 2 games. Always a lovely view to see. The IQ being brought by Bleed both rounds, respecting the possibility of a Valkyrie and or a Pulse, both of which are played by CYCLOPS right now. They're playing that vertical destruction game, right? The double C4s below, the intel, and the turn on Valkyrie does have impact grenades though. Can of course do some destruction with that, but not really a guaranteed kill the same way C4 would do at least.
Oh my. Turnstile gets swung on. It's the drive-by from Anaton Hoven on the board in this round. Reaps in it too. He died early in the first round. You keep Reaps alive, your chances of winning the round as Bleed go drastically higher than they are without him. Now Mentalist creeping on him, but there goes Reaps. Only good enough for 1 kill as Chibisu is still patrolling off-site. Arcully side by side. He'll be able to feed information to Chibisu with that pulse cardiac sensor. And of course, Blackray and Suzu both on the bench. Look at what they're doing. Immediately gaining information with 1 minute to go to assist the 3 remaining players of CYCLOPS.
That's what you gotta do. When you die in these rounds, hop on camps and gain that intel. Arcully finds another onto Mentalist. So again, the defense looking really strong. Still got the scanner, still got the C4, still of course have that intel on the cameras as well. Bleed, they gotta find map control, but also they gotta start planting relatively soon. Only 35 seconds left. It's a 2v2. And the very important thing here, Hoven on IQ is still alive to find out where the cameras are and possibly where Arcully and that Pulse will be playing at.
Yeah, that's a huge operator to have. And not only is Hoven doing well as a player, but also has the gadgetry to make things work. Be integral in the final rounds here as that goes a Nitro Cell. Asfi shrugging off a lot of damage, still persisting for the time being. Will attempt the plant as Hoven watches. Arcully trying to get into position. Diffuser goes down successfully. Not a lot of intel, it would seem. Arcully looking to the right, but the IQ's to the left. You can see the barrel of the gun gets swung on. Hoven with 3, and it's a quad kill to give Bleed their first round.
It's a huge 4K for Hoven. Also, he plays that vital role of IQ, staying alive, seeing where the cameras are, covering, protecting the plant going down, and again, perfectly playing on the map and the bomb site itself. He was playing inside that small closet between the 2 bomb sites and basically using the wall to cover himself from one angle while holding the other, and then shifting between. And it's the trust in your teammates that really comes clutch in these moments, because if the planter stops that plant animation that takes 7 seconds to go down successfully, that's going to give the defenders enough time in that 2v2 to swing together and go for those kills. But because they stick the plant, because the trust is there, it goes down successfully. And then that 1 versus 2 plant position goes into a 2 versus 2. And sure, Hoven didn't need Asfi to help him. He found all the kills himself, but at least the help was there. He wanted it. Right there. Beautiful swing. Aggresses out into the Anaton and that last defender alive. Feeling the confidence despite the first round not going their way. It's a great look for Bleed. They get a round on the board and attack in just 2, well, in the first 2 rounds. It's very important for them.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, being able to equalize very quickly is good from a mental perspective.
Yeah.
5
I mean,
seconds remaining.
I think one of the things you pointed out at the very beginning of the broadcast is something that we need to focus on, which is the sheer volume of events that CYCLOPS is qualified for.
Yep.
Even if they don't have a high-level success, they are still gaining very valuable experience, and they're gaining experience that other teams like Bleed, who don't have international experience, lack. Right, you look at this Bleed roster, you got some names that you'll recognize, but by and large, these are not players who are routinely playing against international competition. Having a team like CYCLOPS as your first opponent can be quite tough because they know how to play on land. They know how to match up against other regional metas.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for that.
To note, they played at SI21, Mexico Major, Invite 2022, Charlotte 2022, Jönköping Major, and Invite 2023.
That's CYCLOPS.
That's CYCLOPS. But they've always gone out either in the first or second round, so top 20, top 16 at best. So yes, experience, but not the results that they would like at those events.
And crazy to think that they were only a single round or two away from making the top 8 in Mexico. They would have defeated Team 1, who went on to win the entire event. So sometimes a single round or two can come back to haunt you if you're CAG. I'm sure they probably don't think too fondly about that event, given the heartbreak they had. Reaps was the first casualty in this round. He died first in round number 1 as well.
Yeah, and it's Fingan Lion that he's playing, and it's like you want these uppers alive throughout the majority of the round, especially the mid to late half. When people take damage, that Fingan boost heals them back up, especially with Hoven on the Monty. That's very important. And I know that we always talk about who should play the Monty. Well, if you just get a fork in the previous round, you're feeling good about it. Why is Hoven the person to play the Monty when mentally sitting on 0 kills? But sometimes you gotta put the quote-unquote wrong player on the right operator because this is who fits the operator the most.
And I mean, to speak to that as well, Mentalist was playing on that Monty back in round number 1, so it's not like that would be an abnormal choice for Bleed to go with.
Not at all. Flashbangs going in. We see Hoven leading the charge.
He's taking some damage from those gas canisters. He pulls out the sidearm. Down goes Chibisu. Black Ray follows. Oh no! The Razor Bloom from Aniton. Friendly fire. Leaving the advantage for Bleed. A 3v2. There goes a nade, the follow-up, but Aniton cannot properly pick which player to go for. Arcully, the last one left. He's just out-dueled by Asfi. Bleed 2 in a row to take the lead.
And the decisiveness there, so important in the 2 versus 2s and 2 versus 1s, when the Monty with very low HP walks up towards an opponent and you say, hey, swing this person with me. If Monty unextends the shields and tries to go for an ADS or hipfire, he's 1 HP. He might just die for nothing. And the same thing can be said, if Ashley swings the corner without the Monty unextending, he's also in that 1 versus 1. So Bleed's decisive saying, hey, let's swing this guy together, isolate the enemy, get full bomb site control, last guy's flanking yellow stairs. That's an easy round victory for us, and they do exactly just that. And we gotta go back and say, okay, how did it go so wrong for CAG there? Well, the team kill, the Razor Bloom from Thorn actually played a big part because the numbers all of a sudden favors the attackers. When you have more guns on the entry, staring down that bomb site door, those very limited ways to enter the bomb site with, all of a sudden you're looking mighty good on the attack, and those crossfires not being able to be established from CYCLOPS. One big kind of talking point about CAG and why they might not find that much success internationally has historically been a lack of discipline. That's like a negative way to put it. The positive way to put it is that CAG play a very fun, chaotic, kind of all over the place kind of play style, and they've also won the hearts of many fans because of that. They're exciting to watch. They really do the things that you would expect pro players to do, but it usually comes at a cost or a price, and that is some rounds that they coulda, woulda, shoulda won. Well, they don't. And that previous round might have kind of been one of those due to a small mistake or a miscommunication on the side of the defenders.
Seconds to open up that garage wall yet again. Same pace that we saw back in round number 1, and the lineup looking eerily familiar for Bleed. Reaps dying early obviously does not bode well for his team's success in previous rounds. Can he correct course this time? Only 1 kill to his name, and given the roles that he plays, this is a name that you're going to hear quite often, even if it seems like we're being a touch repetitive. He'll be guiding Asfi in right now towards Visa, as there's the first set of logic bombs going off, and Arcully will stare down Mentalist's Monte. Hoven, though, getting baited in, and Chibisu with 1 kill. Arcully gunning down Reaps before dying himself to Asfi, who picks up 2.
Time to move forward.
Tying things up into a 3v3. CYCLOPS looking to go 2-0 on this bomb site. You remember back in round number 1, Mentalist found himself on an island, but not the kitchen island. No, that was the cafeteria island. This time, he's got teammates still around and will go for the defuse plant, pulling it off successfully. Asfi on 6 kills as a support player, locking out the retake at this point in time. Can he find Black Ray? Turdsta on the board this round. Chibisu, who got kill number 1 for his team. Need more than that. Aspie has his attention. Trapped over by Electrical, and it's Mentalist to break the donut and get on the board. 3 in a row for Bleed.
Man, Aspie with a big round in that one, Hoven early in the round number 2 as well. And the individual heroics right now really working out for Bleed. And it's not necessarily the quote-unquote star player Reaps that's doing these things. It's the other one stepping up when he dies early in the round. The most impressive thing about the situation of Bleed being up 3-1 is that it's actually CIG with all the opening kills, time and time again, all 4 rounds so far. So this is Bleed playing from a 4 versus 5 position, still finding success in the rounds, getting those trades favoring them despite being a man down early, and it comes off Aspie right here. He quote-unquote baits the line, right? No, he plays off the line there, gets a 2-for-1 trade. That's worth it. And then Monty, such a key part of these attacking rounds, walking inside, gaining intel, and the big difference between a Monty and no Monty is that if you gotta throw out your drones and then drone a corner, check it, it dies, you re-drone it again, you end up stalling out and going very slowly throughout the building. With the Monty, I mean, I don't think Mentalist let go of the W key from the second he spawned. He was always moving forward. He is gonna push one side, his 2 or 3 teammates pushes the other, and then they just get the trades going like we just witnessed. CIG now, they're in a position that we don't tend to see on Consulate very often. They are down in rounds despite starting on defense, and they're just going through it. They try basement again, they try lobby, they try top floor. They're not really finding any success, and the panic in terms of bomb site prioritization might start kicking in, because what are they gonna do? Where are they gonna go? Nothing's really working right now for them.
I don't know, you course correct at this point for CAG, who are, well, living and dying off of a very off-site set of strategies. It's not like they're not getting on the board in the kill department, though, Nick. I mean, look at the tallies on the right side of your screen. They're not that far off of where Bleed is at in terms of kills, despite the scoreboard saying something different. Mentalist attempting to get onto the balcony upstairs. He's fed to the wood chipper. Anaton might throw one of those Valcams out. You have but a couple seconds to read information off of that before it disappears, and now Anaton looking to pick off Reaps. Hoven on the board as down goes Anaton.
Yeah, he died with 2 cameras in pocket, by the way.
Terrible.
And yeah, I know he planned on using one of them outside, perhaps, but the second one surely could be put inside the building. I know that Bleed, they're playing the IQ, but the argument is, do you want the cameras up and maybe get found by IQ, or do you not want any cameras at all? There's no Dokkaebi in the board, so hacking the cameras, you don't have to fear that. Of course, CIG might not know that Dokkaebi is no longer played as it was in the previous round, but either way, we hate to see utility being wasted like that. It's not a great look. And now you gotta play with less intel to work with. Only default cams to grant you information, so Bleed can kind of take it slower now. They have less things to worry about throughout this round.
It's a huge loss of information, especially since in the previous round that we saw, both the Pulse and the Valkyrie lasted until almost the very bitter end, being able to give information. And if you had those gadgets in your pocket, as Pulse always will, but Valkyrie doesn't need to, you can use them at a moment's notice. Now on yellow stairs, Hoven and Arcully are in a battle of patience. Not to the death, not yet. They're sitting waiting. And he swung on Arcully having the read. Hoven almost getting the drop on him, but an advantage now in terms of numbers for CYCLOPS. Desperate to keep themselves in this match. Bleed going up 4-1 in this first half would be devastating for them. Look at who's found his way into the site, by the way. Reaps playing over by Piano. Aspie attempting the plant. It gets gunned down. CAG in a 4v1. Reaps will need to pull off an impressive clutch, but doesn't even find a single kill as Suzu shuts the door on a potential comeback. A second round for CAG now, as the gap between them is only 1 round.
And despite only 1 Valkyrie camera being put out from Anaton, it was the 1 Valkyrie camera that got the yellow ping for those last 2 kills. It was on the bomb site itself, and I'm glad that CIG kind of did that correctly, where, okay, if only 1 camera's gonna go down the prep phase, at least let's cover the bomb sites themselves, because the lobby bomb site that we just witnessed on Consulate can be covered from the basement below with C4s or the floor above with vertical play. So you do really want intel. Mentalist, we just saw the replay right there, just caught on bad timing. The window wasn't opened up nor punched when he rappelled on up, but just he got caught at the very top of that. Maybe scanned out by Pulse, not entirely sure, but Arcully finding 2 kills in that round, and of course being that presence downstairs, always an issue on the side of Bleed if they want to plant. And I love the
I love that soundbite. Yeah.
4 times back to back.
I'd like that more.
Yeah, I know, I do love that as well. Is this No, it's not. I was gonna say, is this a Teller's basement bomb site? But no, it's not one.
5 seconds to go.
Unfortunately. We have actually seen all 4 bomb sites being played a lot domestically in both Brazil and in Europe and in North America, etc. So it's not that the 4th bomb site option of the Tellers and Archives bomb site is unplayable. It requires a neat little kind of playstyle that is intel heavy, C4s below, which CG have been playing so far, so I'm surprised they don't opt that bomb site. But it does require you to cover a lot of ground on the map because you're playing off all 3 floors. This top floor bomb site, primarily play on the top floor portion of the site. Maybe you'll go a little bit below in piano and lobby, etc. But you don't need to if you don't want to. So more compartmentalized, more consolidated playstyle here from CAG.
It hasn't been a clean break so far, but every single starting kill has broken in favor of CYCLOPS. Except I spoke too soon. Reap strikes first in the final round of Bleed's attacking half. CAG were effectively 5-0 up to this point. Only 2 rounds to show for it, which is an interesting stat to follow because we always discuss how teams can get that first kill and then translate it to a round victory. Usually, got a very high likelihood of that happening. CAG are unfortunately on the wrong side of that number. Though Anaton equalizing, killing Reaps. Not quick enough for it to be a trade. There was an advantage gained from that first kill. Bleed wanting to go to blows. Turtsa taking down Suzu before Anaton again on the board. Anaton has been deceptively good so far this first half.
He has 1 HP left, no dog on the board for defense, so he's gonna be very much weakened in this remainder of the round. Of course, Reeves playing the finger on the entry duty. It's a great operator because you can take those fights with great confidence with the gun and the gadget, but if you lose in those engagements, you don't get the healing for your teammates later on. Last nade from Hobbin went down on a sledge, so no more self-destruction on the attacker side. It's gonna be guns blazing. They're close to the bomb site itself. But there is still a Consulate that's post below. No, he gets taken out as well. All of a sudden, Bleed look mighty fine in this round.
This is quite the angle for Anaton as he looks the wrong way. Bleed dominating after getting that first pick. CAG trying to keep it close. Now it's Chibisu in the same spot. Will he suffer the same fates? He will! Asfi in that spot. 2 picks. Bleed take the first half 4-2.
That's an impressive start for them, and they want that. I mean, I'm gonna assume that they are as good on defense as they are attack, and if that's the case, this is gonna be a quote-unquote easy one for them. CAG historically, they have been that kind of, it's a hard time for them to attack, especially maps that are pretty big and open, like the Bank, like Consulate, like Theme Park would be as well, back when that was in rotation. So I do fear a little bit for CYCLOPS here. The good news is, Munty is open and available. Oh my. Reeves didn't just get an entry kill, he got a, I don't know, shoot across the room, wallbang one-shot headshot onto the Blackray, the Asami of Blackray rather. They're just sprinting across the administrative office. That's a good start. But yeah, at least CHE, they have the Munty, just like Bleed also used. Nice! That's always a good look. Let's see if they bring out the first round. So far, they will. So now the big question that we gotta watch out for is Bleed will more than likely assume and expect CAG to bring out the Munty because they tend to more often than not do it. So will they bring out these counter operators? Because how it works in Sieges, defenders will pick up all the operators in the prep phase, and they cannot change them. So the Jaeger, Goyo, Tashanga, Sami Bandit, that's what you're gonna get. But the attackers, however, they can change things around while the drone phase is ongoing. And it's what we saw. Anaton went from the Munty onto the floors because they saw stuff like Tashanga fire, like the Goyo fire, that will slow down and damage the Munty too much throughout the round. And they think, you know, let's go off the Munty instead. Get self-destruction, get some guns to the table. And also, the first Grim that we've seen so far this major, it's still game 1. Maybe in the other stream we'll see it as well, but for our series at least, Zeus, C, and Grim, first one for this one.
Obviously hard to talk about the other stream when we ourselves are not watching it, but...
What a ridiculous clutch to win their first attack on us.
But apparently a ridiculous clutch to win their first attack. Well, there's something you don't hear every day. Cool thing about these play-ins and the second phase as well will be that we are in close proximity to the other casters, meaning that we can hear them as they pop off. And if anybody knows Stokes and Lynx on any level of intimacy, then you'll know that they are very loud, natural human beings.
Oh yeah.
They get quite loud in normal conversation.
Oh yeah. We had that happen yesterday.
Americans, am I right?
As we say, America, man. For For this round, though, it's a bit of a standoff. Like, the defenders are waiting for the attackers. The attackers, they're setting up still. The yellow paints the grenades doing so much damage onto Mentalist, but he stays up still. It's going to be very important. Play further back, use that streamer launcher with the fire on Tashanka, slow things down. You got 18 of those. Can stall for a lot of time, but again, CYCLOPS are waiting for movement, waiting for a possible flank, and they want Bleed to make the first move and make a mistake. If Bleed just sit tight, they might be fine for this round.
There's been changes to the weaponry brought by Tashanka that just increase his killing potential, that might balance out some issues that certain players have with the gadgetry itself, especially how slow it can be to reload that Shumika launcher. Still searching for our very first kill here in round number 7. The teams swapping sides. CYCLOPS cannot fall behind early on, but they lose Chibisu, walking right into the hands of Hoven. Anaton now taking some damage. It's Arcully down for the count as Asfi falls. Now Hoven being softened up as well. What little remains of Mentalist in a position to capitalize as Suzu goes for the defuse plan. Anaton watching very intently, pistol out. There goes Anaton, Mentalist with the sidearm in. They scramble, only 2 left. Suzu can very much win this, but he won't against Mentalist. No luck on the side of CAG. Bleed take the round. That's their 5th. They're 2 away from this victory in this best of 1.
Tashanka with 1 HP from that grenade earlier on ends up winning the round for his team. Oh man, I mean, you go back, well, if that grenade had just finished the job and killed Mentalist on Tashanka, that round plays out entirely differently. Because they also knew on the attacking side, they had the streamer launcher, so going for a plant was risky. So CAG, they ought to go for the swing, they go for those engagements, and I think it's the right choice to make, but Bleed had such a great crossfire, especially on the spiral walk in that top spiral staircase. 2 members holding it down together, guaranteeing the flank getting shut down, and then they can all face in that same direction towards yellow stairs and see a window repel and fight them basically, 4 versus 3 as that was the numbers left in the remainder of that round. It's great stuff. And yeah, Tashanka got buffed. The quote-unquote LMG weapon now does 60 damage per bullet, so you don't need well, actually, you do need a lot of health to not get one-shot by that gun at within like 20 meters.
Is it a timeout that was being taken, by the way, or are we just on a bit of a prolonged break? Hard to tell. This lineup is so easy to handle with that commando, by the way. Suzu picks up 2 and could have got the other, but just that damage from the LMG of Tashanka is a bit too much to handle. They didn't have the read on him either. I imagine there was a timeout that was called, or we might have had a tech issue. I didn't see either appear on the screen, but there was definitely a prolonged period of time. Confirmed a timeout.
Okay. That makes sense. Talk things through and kind of figure it out. I imagine it was CAG calling it because they're the ones losing right now. That's usually how it goes, at least.
5 seconds
By the
left.
way, the basement bombs are now being played out from top to bottom here. And the thing about top and bottom bomb side is that they play out quote-unquote more simple. Like on top of bomb side, we saw Bleed play 5 men on top floor. On basement, you can play 5 people on the basement side if you want to, but we do tend to see that soft kind of roam, kind of like on Chalet, where, yeah, it's basement bomb side, you play first a little bit, if you want to get really risky, you play top floor as well, and then you kind of see what happens from there. You can go for flanks, go for vertical play, and just, we see here, Chibisu trying to get that hatch in Visa, open up early, but get shut down, just because Reaps actually has a roaming presence on the map, where if he was just playing on the bomb side, well, hatch gets open immediately, they get pressure, but Reaps was his entire magazine was a free kill, but Aspi, he's outside the building, got the kill instead. Where did he even come from?
They played offense on defense, and Asfi picks up a second from the same spot on Visador.
No.
Striking fear into the hearts of CYCLOPS as now it's Mentalist's turn. Every attempt for CYCLOPS to get into the building has been rebuffed so far. Suzu and Anaton, the last 2 remaining. How many steps through the doorway will they make it? So not a single point of damage has been done to Bleed through the first minute of play.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I still don't know exactly where Aspi came from. It ran out the wall here or something like that, but that is absurd. Finding not just 1, but both kills as well on the Visa side of things. And this is again the issue for attackers. It's hard to get inside the building, get a foothold somewhere where you feel comfortable. And now it's a 2v5, and look at Bleed, they're mostly falling back, establishing crossfires, and I will say, they've played with excellent discipline on both the attack and the defense so far, and it's something that we often criticize teams from APAC for. They are less experienced, and this roster of Bleed in particular haven't played... He called GG in chat! It's not even match point, it's 5-2! Nah, that's a mental warfare if I've ever seen one. I mean, that's... I mean, this round may be GG, but it's not the end of the entire series.
Wait for the GR asterisk is what you see. It's, oh, my bad. GR.
Yeah, I mean
GR. I meant good round. I meant good round.
Oh, boy. I mean, we all know it's CAG, and it's in SuCC. They gotta pull off a ridiculous clutch, and with the crossfires being established, the bomb site and control the defenders, there's just no way in.
No hope whatsoever now. Suzu in a 1v5. There are flawless rounds. And then there are no damage flawless rounds. A perfect round. Bleed are looking at a perfect round right now. If Asfi picks the right direction, no! He could have been a bit more patient, but Reaps will seal the deal. Match point for Bleed, looking to knock Cyclops down to the lower bracket.
I mean, that's a classic ranked round whenever I play, where when you're not 5 versus 1, you say, you know what, it's trolling time, guys. You guys go have some fun. He just jumped out the window. Okay. He just flew out the window, got the first kill. Look at this. This second swing, you'd never expect this one. Nope. Down goes Black Gray as well. So Reaps did whiff the magazine when he first shot towards that Visa member, but then Aspi was there to kind of take the kill. So Reaps was a baiter, the enabler, essentially, in that situation. And great coordination again, great discipline, communicating, hey guys, there's a guy here, can we isolate, can we go 2v1? And it's those kind of small things that we don't necessarily see that often from APAC teams who aren't as experienced. So seeing Bleed doing all this in their very first game on international grounds is beautiful to see. It kind of sets a tone for the potential of this roster and how they might have a great time at this event. But this is the very first match. A lot of things can change and happen, but so far so good. And we will not see, at least so far, that 4th bomb site. It'll be top floor, basement, and then lobby itself here. But what big difference here is Mira being brought out from Mentalist can kind of help isolate and pick areas of the map where they care about a lot, put down those mirror windows, hold down to those areas, and just force CAG to, again, problem solve those difficult areas of the map.
Well, it's pretty grave for Cyclops at this point. You hype them up by saying, you know, yeah, they come to a lot of international events, but they don't usually make a deep run. You know, somewhere between 12th and 8th place is pretty standard sometimes. 16th to 12th, they tend to be one of those teams that unfortunately goes home earlier rather than later.
Yep.
Well, at this point, unless Cyclops can fix these issues and win through overtime, their fate will be determined in a best-of-3 later today.
Yeah.
That you and I will be casting. That's true. Assuming that that's going to be this match. We're still...
For a wake-up call.
We're waiting to see because there's 2 best-of-3s today. Teams will be going home today. It is not a quick journey from Japan to America.
Nope.
Not even to the West Coast, let alone the Southeast, where we are right now in Atlanta. So for Cyclops, it might be a one and done when it comes to the days here in Atlanta, if they can obviously prevail in the best-of-3. Let's get through this first matchup, though. Bleed looking so strong on defense, and now doing so on the same on attack, where they picked up 4 rounds. They've still got their timeout. They didn't really have to break much of a sweat on the previous round.
No.
And the lineup that's being brought from Cyclops with the Amaru on the board, that could go south in a hurry if you're not careful with how you go about using those operators.
No, it could, but it also net you that early opening kill, and that's what CAG did so well when they were on defense. They always got their first kill. That hasn't really happened since the side swap. Amaru with the line, with the Dokkaebi, could be a way into the building. Could also be a quick way to the grave as well. Depends how you use it. We see it here, Chibisu looking to fly in the piano window possibly, but waiting for the call to set up for things to be aligned correctly and then commit to that move completely together. There goes Amaru, goes in. Well, he finds something. Well, he finds a good mine. Elysian, a shot in the foot, gets the injury and the confirmed, however. It's a great start. Now Quiddly follows up. It's now a 5v3 plant that's going down as well.
There's confidence here on the Cyclops squad as they go for it. The diffuser seems to be successful. A retake attempt from Bleed. Not good enough, not yet. It's all up to Hoven in a 1v4. It's been impressive so far, but sometimes you can't battle against the tides. You just gotta go with the flow. And it's Cyclops to carry them downriver win their very first attacking round, and at least they've still got some smiles on their face.
Yep.
They understand how much work they have ahead of them, though.
No, I think they do as well. And the thing is, the round that we just saw is the most like CHE kind of round that we kind of expect from them. They go fast, they go quick, and it's not necessarily clean, but it works. And it comes down to like individual gunfights. CHE won both of their first 2 entries. However, had that gone the other way in favor of Bleed, they don't have a way into the bomb site. Bomb doesn't go down. All of a sudden, they gotta pick up the pieces and try and find Diffuser, which is on the site itself. So CAG, I like to describe them as a high-risk, high-reward kind of playstyle and performance, and I feel like they have been playing it relatively safe compared to what we used to see from them. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because, you know, CAG's results, they haven't been all that great while they make the events like we mentioned, they go out early, so changing things up, going for a different approach might actually surprise their opponents, because we all expect craziness, the chaos, Monty every single round. Well, CAG, yeah, they've only had 3 attacking rounds so far, but they haven't shown the Monty. They're not playing, or they have 1 round, but that was when everything kind of fell apart, so the Monty didn't matter in that round at least. So they are showing a different side of themselves. They're happy and willing to change the operators around. Whether it's the Grim or the Togepi, the Amaro, the Lion, now the Finka, the Flores, like, they're happy to experiment and also pick accordingly to what they see in the drone phase. And that's a good step up, because I do believe that back in the days, CAG would say, we want these 5 operators, we don't care what bombs that we're attacking and what operators are defending it. We just want these 5. And now, much more fluid, dynamic, adaptive. They got that previous round victory, but they needed a lot more. 3 in order to go to OT, and then another 2 of those following 3 rounds to win this match.
I mean, it's a confidence-inspiring round, though. They looked good, they looked sharp. As you said, they were playing their CAG style. Back when it was one very large region, we used to refer to it as APAC Siege. And there was obviously Aussie Siege as well. But now, with all of the regions fragmenting, there's a difference between the way that the Japanese teams play and the Korean teams play, and then you've got this Southeast Asian team that come from all over on Bleed. Yep. And they're going to bring their own styles from the regions and the countries that they play from. It's a nice mix-up. It's a nice mash. You know, a blend, some could even say.
A good blend.
A good blend. Everybody likes a good blend of styles.
It's true.
The blend is working out, though, for Bleed. It'll be interesting to see how they do in their subsequent matches.
Yep. Also, just best of 3s, because that's a very different story than best of 1s. And right now, that's the name of the game. It's 1 map, 1 series here, best of 1 situation. If you go to the loser bracket, then you will play a best of 3, but you don't want to lose just to play a best of 3. So you're going to win it here in the best of 1s. And you can kind of just throw things at the wall here and see what sticks, because just winning 1 or 2 rounds can just build you somewhere. Bleed start off on the losing side, but then build 3 in a row. Look at that. Now that's 6-3 for them.
Anaton heralding his presence over in Copier. And Black Ray's not too far off. Keep barriers right now, keeping them at bay as Aspie strikes first onto Arcoli. There goes Black Ray as well. Reaps patrolling top. Visa swings on Anaton, losing the Kiba barrier, but getting the kill all the same. Reaps looking for another. The flash goes out. Not deep enough. Reaps still upright. Final 2 players for CYCLOPS to keep themselves in this match. Bleed haven't suffered a single casualty yet. Here you hear the proximity sensor, and Reaps worried about multiple angles, seeing Chibisu, Suzu last alive.
GG.
Aspie over there, the GG's coming in, and it's a flawless round. They were denied earlier, but they get it this time, and they do it on the most important round of the match. Bleed 7-3. The first team to win here in Atlanta.
Yep, and they look good while doing so. The first round was a very different story for the rest of this entire match so far, and it was a mixture of individual play from Bleed, but also the coordination, the teamwork, and the discipline, especially on defense, not going for solo bolo kills, but saying, hey guys, how can we put 2 defenders against 1 attacker and secure those kills? It's a great stop for the Bleed.
I like the fact that you touched on how controlled Bleed looked.
Yeah.
We are very critical of teams that come into these international matches and they play sloppy, they play too aggressive. They play almost like ranked style. Because there is momentum that you need to build as a team, and you need to settle in.
Yeah.
Act like you've been there. And that's exactly what we saw out of Bleed. A huge debut on the international stage for this organization, for many of these players. and they beat one of the teams that's been to almost every single international event over the last 2 years. Bleed will move on. They live to fight another day for CAG. Do we know if they will make it out of the day? Well, they've got a best of 3 later. If they lose that, they're done. They go home.
I will say, though, I know it doesn't account for much, but CAG, despite losing, they're still smiling, seemingly happy, and that's because they've been here before. They know what this means. They're not out of it entirely yet, and you can't put yourself down mentally because you have another match to come later today. You gotta stay in it.
And I mean, if you know anything about CAG as a squad, the thing that is always so consistent about them is their attitude.
Yes.
They are always happy. They are always smiling. Even in the worst results that we have seen from them, they still manage to keep their head in the game, and that is huge. Now, if they as a team could maybe do the same in the server, couple that with that same mental fortitude, that same optimism that they seem to carry with them, that's a winning combination.
It is, absolutely.
CAG's demeanor outside of the server is great, but they gotta work on their results in the server because 3 rounds in your very first match where you've got little room for error is simply just not good enough.
No, it's not. If you get defending starting side on a map like Consulate, you need to put up better results than simply 1 or 2 rounds and a half. It's simply not enough. Yeah, the attacks are sloppy. We see the highlights right now. They're getting slaughtered in the entries, but that's the expected outcome. So on defense, that's really where CG gotta look at this map and be like, okay, we gotta fix those issues and do better.
You don't have a lot of time. They're going to be playing their next match in just and 2 hours, 3 hours,
2-3
or
hours,
so.
yeah.
You do not have a lot of time to prep. You have even less time to counter-strat your opponent because CAG is going to be waiting and wondering who they're playing against. Not only is Atlanta on their mind, but also the 6 Invitational. In February, we're going to Sao Paulo. Both of these teams are bubble teams. They have not qualified for SI yet. They are both capable of qualifying for SI, but they gotta make a deep run. For Bleed, the best you can do is win your first match. They've accomplished that. CAG, though, their focus might be more on surviving this major than what comes next in February. That's it for our very first matchup. Ace and Dez will be on in just a moment, and they've got some costumes as well. Well, Ace does. Dez looks very normal, as I do. We both decided, why don't we just go as ourselves? And I think Dez looks pretty good. We got a short break and then we'll come back because there's a lot of games today. Sit tight. We'll see you in a few.